This podcast contains content related to child exploitation and criminal investigations. Listener discretion is strongly advised. The views expressed are those of the host and do not represent any official agency. All individuals discussed are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. She was 15, a normal kid who liked music, laughter, and friends. She wanted to belong, and for a few moments online, she thought she did. But the screen that made her feel seen was the same screen that destroyed her peace. Her name was Amanda Todd, and her story changed the way the world talks about sextortion and cyberbullying. This is Chasing Shadows, the Shadow Debriefs. I'm Sean Lacy, and today we're going to look at the case that forced an uncontrollable truth into the spotlight. That what happens online is real, and its consequences don't fade when you close the app. Before the headlines and the hashtags, Amanda Todd was a bright, creative teenager living in British Columbia. She sang constantly, posting covers of pop songs, doodled on notebooks, and dreamed about performing someday. Her parents describe her as compassionate, funny, impulsive. Typical 15-year-old energy wrapped in curiosity. She wasn't looking for danger, she was looking for connection. And like so many teens, she went online for attention, validation, and community. And she found it. Or at least, she thought she did. Amanda used social video chat sites, the kind that connect users randomly through webcams. It started like most of the conversations we cover. It started innocently with compliments about her smile, encouragement for her to keep chatting. Then came the manipulation, a voice that sounded friendly, building trust day after day. Eventually, the person behind the screen convinced her to flash her camera, and Amanda made a single impulsive decision that would haunt her for years. The predator took a screenshot. That image, that single image, became his weapon. He began sending messages, "Do what I say or I'll send this to everyone you know." When she refused, he made good on that threat. Her classmates received the image. Teachers, friends, even family members saw it circulate. Can you imagine being 15 years old, walking into school and feeling every whisper, every stare? All because one moment of misplaced trust. Once the predator released the photo, the harassment exploded. Her fellow students mocked her. Her friends criticized her in the hallways. Strangers online piled on with cruelty that blurred the lines between entertainment and torment. Amanda tried to move schools, but the image followed her. Every new beginning turned into another humiliation. She described feeling like there was no escape, that even when she changed usernames, towns, or schools, the reach of the internet always found her again. And that, folks, is what makes sextortion uniquely destructive. It's not just a single act. It's a cycle. First comes the threat, then the exposure, then the social backlash. Predators weaponize shame, and peers amplify it. Amanda became both victim and target, extorted by one, but condemned by many. In September of 2012, Amanda uploaded a silent YouTube video titled My story: struggling, bullying, suicide, self-harm. There was no narration. Just Amanda flipping index cards that told her story, telling how she was blackmailed, beaten up, ostracized, and losing hope. It was and still is haunting in its simplicity. It's almost like the silence made you listen harder. Millions would watch it later after her death, but at the time, few realized it was a plea for help in real time. She wrote, "I have nobody. I need someone." Weeks later, on October 10th of 2012, Amanda Todd took her own life. The world woke up the next morning to headlines that would echo for years. Immediately, the story spread globally. For the first time, people saw the full trajectory of online exploitation. Grooming, sextortion, bullying, and suicide all wrapped up into one narrative. Hashtags trended. Candlelight vigils were held in cities worldwide. Parents everywhere asked the same question: how could this happen? Law enforcement agencies were asking another: who was behind the screen? Investigators in Canada and Europe began tracing IP addresses, cross-referencing chat logs, and working with Interpol. It would take years, but eventually a name emerged: Aiden Coben, a Dutch man already serving time for similar crimes against dozens of other victims. Through painstaking international cooperation, Canada and its authorities extradited him. In 2022, he was convicted of extortion, harassment, and possession of child sexual abuse material related to Amanda's case. After a decade, he was sentenced to serve more than a decade in prison. Justice, finally, but incredibly delayed. Could you imagine being the parents of Amanda and having to wait 10 years for the sentencing of the person responsible? Amanda's death reshaped how governments, tech companies, and educators approach online safety. In Canada, it inspired Amanda's law in British Columbia, strengthening protection against cyberbullying and harassment. Her mother, Carol Todd, became an international advocate, speaking in schools and policy conferences, turning tragedy into education. Her foundation, the Amanda Todd Legacy, now funds mental health awareness and digital literacy programs across the globe. Schools show her video during Internet Safety Week. Police recruits are introduced to the investigation as a case example of modern sextortion. For investigators like me, Amanda's case has become a story that I referenced when parents say, "That could never happen to my child." Because to someone's child, it already has. More than a decade later, the tactics haven't changed, just the platforms. Where Amanda's predator used webcam sites, today offenders use Snapchat, Discord, Instagram, and OMTV. The technology evolves, but the psychology is the same: isolation, trust building, and control through fear. Every time I brief parents, I tell them that while Amanda's story seems long ago, it isn't outdated. It's a blueprint of what we still see every single week. The difference now is that hopefully we're talking about it sooner. We have the vocabulary. We understand sextortion, digital grooming, and cyberbullying. Words that didn't exist in the public consciousness in 2012. That awareness is saving lives. For parents, your child doesn't need to be rebellious to be vulnerable. They just need to be online. Create environments where mistakes can be confessed without fear. Know what apps they use and who they talk to, but focus on conversation, not on surveillance. For teens, one photo can spiral beyond control, but that doesn't mean life is over. If someone threatens you, tell someone immediately. And remember, you're never alone and you're never beyond help. Shame belongs to the offender, not to the victim. Amanda's death forced platforms to reevaluate privacy and reporting systems. It led to a greater partnership between law enforcement and major social media companies, improving image hashing technology that now detects known child exploitation material before it spreads. After 2012, the term sextortion became a recognized criminal offense in multiple countries. And every awareness video, every school assembly, every prevention campaign that followed carries on her legacy. Because sometimes one story changes everything. Amanda Todd's did. When I watch Amanda's YouTube video, I think about all the times she flipped those cards in silence. She was holding up more than words. She was holding up a mirror to the rest of us. Her story isn't about what she did. It's about how the world responded. First with cruelty, then with compassion, and finally with accountability. If there's a lesson in Amanda's life, it's this: empathy must travel faster than shame. Because behind every screen, there's a person who matters. Amanda Todd's story reminds us why we do this work. Why awareness, education, and open conversation aren't optional. The internet is inherently evil, but it can become dangerous when we forget there are real hearts on the other side of the keyboard. I'm Sean Lacy. Thank you for listening. This has been Shadow Debriefs, talking about the Amanda Todd story. Thank you for standing with me in this fight.